Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back for me, for you, everyone, I suppose at this point. Hey everyone, I suppose I should say hi to everyone since it's been forever and a half. Sorry about Nightbot, still trying to work out the kinks. So, hey Mish, it's good to see you. Saw you at the football game. That looked like fun. Hi Nora's grandma. Hi Alibi, it's good to see you. Thank you. Hi Fissel. Hey Kelly. Hi, True Crime Crazy. It's good to see you. How are you? Summer. Let's see who else is up here. Hey, Tammy's Clips. Richard Feller. Welcome in, Richard. How's the boat life treating you out there? Kelly P. Fred Field. Hey, guys. Welcome in. Thank you. Joseph Christine. Hi, LFT. I think that's everyone so far. If I'm Thistle, I don't think it works yet. Oh, Ramblin' Rome. Thank you. Hi, Tia. Hey, Lisa. How are you? Lisa, I'm glad you're here too because next week I am doing Sherry's case. So, hi, Sandra. Good to see you. What? Excuse me, what? What'd I do? I don't know. Dexter and my mom are watching from downstairs as usual. Um, Hi, Red Eye. I didn't get ready today and I've just kind of been nervous all day for this. So when it comes to me being on camera yet, it's going to be next time. It'll be next week. But I am just going to kind of give you guys the update of where I've been, why I was gone for so freaking long. And um yeah, and then I'll give you guys some updates on the cases that I have covered previously. So I'll get into some of that. But first, thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. Um, where I've been. I can't even tell you guys the last time I went live. I know it was before Thanksgiving. Um, but I've been trying to keep you guys updated on my community posts. And so if you've read there, then you'll kind of be hearing just the review of everything. If not, then this will be brand new. But my grandfather passed away right after Thanksgiving. Um, it was one of those where it was sudden, but within like a few days. So like my mom was able to get there, be with him, all that stuff. And yeah, and then a week after he passed, exactly a week, it was his what would have been his 93rd birthday. So then that whole week was hard. And then about a week after that, it was actually his birthday was on a Monday. That Friday, I tested positive for COVID. So I was out for about a week with that. And then just trying to get back into work and everything. So obviously I wasn't working during all that time. And then it was Christmas and then it was New Year's, which was also my mom's birthday. And now we're here. So it's kind of just been one thing after the other. And I'm so sorry, Tammy's Clips. That's terrible. My condolences. Hey, Rody Gal. Sorry I didn't say hi to you before. Hi. Um, so yeah, it's been more of a taking time to myself, making sure that I'm in the right mind space to then jump into cases again. Because even just, I was on Teresa's channel on criminality a few days ago, and it just got me back into because we went over all the trials that are going to be coming up for this year and the beginning of next year. Um, and just going back through and being like, what the hell has happened in these last 2 years in the true crime world and everything that comes along with it. The cases that are still unsolved, the cases that are currently going to trial, and just everything like that. I just need to make sure that I was mentally prepared for that because your mental health and everything is most important. Um, that doesn't mean though that during my off time I wasn't keeping up with everything. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if there's anything to question. I was gonna say if you guys have questions, you can ask them, but I don't really know. That was kind of just straightforward. It's not gonna be a super long live tonight, just because of oh Tammy's clips. I'm sorry. We'll be thinking about you. Um, we're just gonna be going over. There's a handful of cases that don't have updates. That are still open cases, unsolved, that I'm just going to throw the information out there to make sure that faces and everything are still in our brains, remind you guys of certain cases. The only case that does have updates that we will not be getting into is the Long Island serial killer cases. So my first few videos with Shannon Gilbert and the rest of the Gilgo Beach murders and everything like that is too there's too many updates in that case to add it in with all of these. So I will probably end up doing an update on its own once everything kind of starts to slow down in it. There's just updates literally every day in that. Hi Will B, it's good to see you. Yes, True Crime Crazy. It's actually in his bed. He loves it. And I try to show it to everyone that I can. I'm like, yeah, Dexter gets blankets. So he does. He loves it though. It's the only one that's in his bed right now. But so I think I have, let me see how many cases I have to go over. I do have overlays because that is just the type of person that I am. Hey Lindsay, it's good to see you. Thank you. Um, let's see. I have overlays because I'm an organized person. If I don't, I would lose my mind. Now I just have to find my overlays. Here we go. So I have, let's see. We're gonna go over the Brianne Breezy Pennington case, which I went over it with you guys. And we're going to go over Rachel Morin. We will go over the updates with Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt, which also for all of these, I will give a little bit of a synopsis of each case so that each of you will be able to remember if the name or the pictures don't just jog your memory. I will give a little bit of an overview as well as the updates or new information or just the aspects of it that I want you guys to remember. We'll also go into Madalena Kojakari, Athena Brownfield, Maddie Kingsbury, and then we'll talk a little bit at the end about Idaho 4 and my thoughts. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well regarding the demolition of 1122 King Road. Just because I am curious to hear all of your guys' thoughts on that, because that's still something that I'm just like, what the hell? So, hi, Merp. It's good to see you. Yeah. So I have them in order. Doesn't mean they're going to stay in that order. And then I also have different articles or videos. Or one thing I'm really excited to go through is with the Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt case. Jody put her house up for sale. And not only, oh, Elisa, thank you so much. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you. And welcome to everyone that was gifted a membership. Welcome. For those that don't remember, I will start doing my membership lives. And I have a full-time job, so the money that comes from memberships will pay for my StreamYard. Oh, Nora's grandma, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys don't have to do that, but thank you. It'll go towards my StreamYard, Canva stuff that I utilize for the channel. And then after that, once we get to a point where there's additional money after that, we're not quite there yet. But once we do get there, we will be donating to a cause that the members choose on a membership live together. And we will do the donation live so that you guys can all see where it's all going and everything like that. So that is, if you do become a member, if you're gifted a membership, that is where your money is going. And yeah, I don't do this for money or for anything like that. So thank you guys once again for gifting memberships. You're the best. Thank you. Was what a hiccup. Me? I don't know. All right. Oh, yes. Jody Hildebrandt put her house up for sale. So we get to look at all the photos of her house, which her house was the house that the two youngest Frankie children were being held in when he escaped. The older one escaped and started this whole calling the police and everything. So I'm excited to show you guys that. The house is insane and there is a safe room. I know that there was a bunch of BS when it came hi Princess Megan Elsa when it came to the Reddit post saying that the kids were being kept in a safe room under the garage. Turns out there's not only oh, thank you, Red Eye. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Turns out that not only was there an additional room under the garage, but underneath that there was actually a safe room where the door is an actual safe. So, yeah, it's something that I can't wait to go over with you guys and show you guys all the pictures and share. But we will get there. So, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So, we are going to start with Brienne's case. So, if you guys don't remember, Brienne Breezy Pennington, her case took place in Gardner, Massachusetts on October 22nd, 2023. So, just a few months ago. She was the one who was potentially, obviously not tried and convicted, but killed by her husband, Aaron Pennington. What in their bedroom, he had notes on his phone about killing her, and the next morning he is seen leaving, and not long after, hi Inspector Gadget. Not long after, her kids are seen all of them going over to the neighbor's house to ask for help, where then they go find her um, deceased. So, unfortunately, there is still nothing. If you search either Brienne Pennington, Breezy Pennington, Aaron Pennington, there's literally no updates. He is still a fugitive. Um, he's still no one's been caught in her case. If you guys do remember, there was the potential where his car was found in like a reserve or a park, a nature reserve type of area. But the police did say that they searched that pretty thoroughly and they didn't believe he was in there. But he does have ties pretty much everywhere across the country. Hi, BG. From Texas to California to Arizona to everywhere in between. So it's a case, hi K-Brace, where you just have to be very vigilant. Now, I will put up, this is Aaron Pennington. He is the one that is the fugitive wanted in the death of his wife, Brienne Breezy Pennington. Like I said, I do have a video on Brienne's entire case. After the live, I will be linking everything. Hi, T. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. I will be linking all of my previous videos, but I also only have like 12 videos, so it's not very hard to find if you just go to my page and then hit lives. Hi, Lady V. It's good to see you. Then they're all under there, but there's only like 12, so it's not like you'll have to scroll very long. But yeah, I just wanted, this was one that although there wasn't any updates, highlighting their way home. Thank you for coming. I still wanted to make sure that we got his face out there again because he is still out. Like I said, that he potentially, because he has not been tried or convicted, potentially, but it happened in Massachusetts, but he does have ties all the way to California, Arizona, Texas, and different places in between. So once again, I just want to throw his picture up there. So stay vigilant with those around you. If you see something, say something. And that's really all I have for Brienne Breezy Pennington and the updates in her case. Oh, have you heard anything lighting their way home? on him because I know it was pretty big as like within the first few days, but then there was literally nothing, not a thing. I think one of the last articles was November of last year, which was only about a month after it happened. But I don't know. I haven't been able to find anything other than the one that's like a month later. Yeah, exactly. And that's crazy to me. So at this point, regardless of if people do think that he is still out there, yes, Nora's grandma. Yeah, yeah. He is the one that allegedly unalived his wife and his kiddos in the house. Yes, douche. But um, like I said, at this point, he is still out there potentially, even though there are people that are like they obviously just haven't found him yet, like a Brian Laundrie situation. Um, but just in case, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to show you guys once again. This is Aaron Pennington. Keep your eye out. Last seen in Gardner, Massachusetts. So just keeping that out there. So yeah, he's been on the run since October 22nd, Princess Megan Elsa. Um, let's see. All right. So, next one, which if you guys have not been following the Decipher podcast when it comes to Rachel Morin, you need to. Tia and LFT do an incredible job um, on Rachel's case and working to find justice for Rachel and keeping her name out there. Um, so if you guys are not familiar with Rachel's case, like I said, I'm going to give you guys a brief synopsis of each case just in case it doesn't ring a bell. But Rachel's case took place in Bel Air, Maryland on August 5th, 2023. Yes. Hi, Crime Sleuth in. Welcome in. And she went on a early evening walk slash jog. Never came home. Oh, I know, T. I know. And she never came home. And then I don't, was it a day later or a few days later? I want to say she went missing Saturday night and it was Monday they found her, right? Is that right? But either way, this all happened right around those first few days of August. She was then found deceased on the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. And her perpetrator is still out there. There was some breaks in the case at the very beginning in regards to the DNA found at Rachel Morin's, the site of where Rachel Morin was killed, matched a home invasion, I use air quotes, in Los Angeles, California, where the DNA matched. And we were able to get some doorbell footage of that perpetrator that the Bel Air police then put out as being the killer in Rachel's case. Other than the video, there's not actually a ton of information regarding Rachel's case. There is a few things that I will be going over tonight, but the main thing I wanted to talk about with Rachel's case is just showing the person who killed her again. So these are stills. I do have the video as well that I'll bring up here in a second. But these are stills of the individual whose DNA was found both at this scene in Los Angeles as well as at Rachel's scene in Bel Air, Maryland. I know. And this is him. So the police put this out and said, hey, if anyone knows it, this is we believe this is Rachel's killer. And it's literally been, I don't even know when exactly they put this out. I wonder if it's on the video that I'm going to share with you guys. 3 months ago. And even though we don't see the front of his face, I swear that there is enough. Right, Lady V. Someone has to know who that is. He's too distinct to like not know who it is. So I am going to bring up the video just because I do think it's important to see the mannerisms of everything as well. So give me a second. I'm still getting back and used to StreamYard and sharing everything, and luckily I have everything up and ready to go. Um, I don't think we need the sound on this just because there is no sound on the actual video. So I will just play it through. I'm not going to mute myself just so I can talk to you guys through it. But I'm just going to show you guys the video. We'll play it twice through. I think they played a few times in this. But this is, which also added a bunch of questions as well to everything. I don't know, Nora's grandma. I have no idea. And I've had this conversation with Tia LFT, with Teresa from Criminality. I don't understand. Number one, my biggest thing about this is, even if they don't know who it is, why the hell is there not a face? Why has no one drawn a face? What is it called? Damn it. Sketch. Why has no one done a facial sketch of him? You know what I mean? Because obviously people have seen him. So why? Thank you. Why has that never happened? Even if they don't know who he is. Unless they do know who he is and they're scared. And that's why. But I don't know exactly. Sleuth Mom, thank you for coming. Right now we're just going over rewatching the Rachel Morin information and potential killer, or killer according to police, just to make sure that we don't forget Rachel's name and her killer's face, side profile, back, whatever the hell it would be, is still out there. But you do, Nora's grandma? You think it's probably that they do know him and they're afraid? I know, Crime Sleuthin', it's crazy. Hey, Butterfly Kisses, it's good to see you. Yeah. Nora's grandma, go ahead. You're good. That would be my only thing, but also, like, why would no one have wanted, "Hi, Pam, I am. Hi." Yeah, someone does close the door, and that's the other thing as to why there's no sketch of that guy's face. That baffles me. It makes me kind of angry, actually. Plus, there's not a lot of information regarding the back and forth between the Maryland police and the Los Angeles police when it comes to, like, oh, if you want to find that out, you have to ask the LA police. If you want to find that out, you have to talk to the Bel Air police. And it's just like, just put something joint out to the public. And if someone asks, don't say you have to ask the other person. It's one case. But the other aspect of this, which is more recent, that I am going to bring up, is the issues that have been raised regarding the GoFundMe in Rachel's name. So, luckily, I found an article that I'm going to be able to read, so that way I don't say anything unwarranted. I want it to come straight from all this. But if those of you who don't know, the father of Rachel's oldest child, who is 18, recently put in all of the Facebook groups and everything like that, that there are some issues regarding the GoFundMe that was at $54,000 that was given out as a potential benefit for, at the beginning, funeral costs, and then to give her children a good Christmas and the first Christmas, birthdays without their mom, so on and so forth. That was originally what this GoFundMe was for. We find out that not only has the oldest daughter been potentially cut out of all of that, but none of the children have received any of that. The children did not get any Christmas presents that they were promised via that GoFundMe money or any of the other ones. Hi, Tomboy Charm. They didn't really, literally nothing. Supposedly there is an attorney involved, and I'm not exactly sure how that all works out. But I am gonna just read through the article quick. Um, just because they have more of like the official terminology when it comes to that. Um, so let me see here. I do have. Let me see if I can find it though, because I will. Or Tia and LFT, I know you guys are listening, but not in chat. Can one of you guys resend me Rachel's kids link tree so I can throw that in chat? I have it on my Nightbot, but of course, Nightbot went all crazy. Um, yeah. And I just want to have it so I can throw it in chat really quick. Like I know I could scroll up, but I'm lazy. So, Lady V, the ones that came from the gift lists, the ones that uh Tia and LFT were sharing, those were literally directly linked to the children. The children made their lists, and when someone purchased something, it went directly to them. There was no middleman or anything like that. So that one is fine. And because they did not get this perfect Christmas that was promised to them via the GoFundMe, um, the family has decided to um, keep the link tree up for those Amazon wish lists for the kids. Just because even though Christmas is over, they still have the first birthday without their mom. They'll have, the first school year without their mom, the first summer without their mom, the first whatever they have to go through. It's still the first few months, technically, of losing their mom. And not only that, but they are not together. They are not living together. They don't see each other like they used to see each other. Um, so there's been a lot of sudden changes. And with all of the money issues and everything like that behind the scenes, it's kind of a shit show. And it sucks because the only thing that should be a priority is number one, getting justice for Rachel, but number two is her children. So everything else shouldn't matter. And the fact that this money has become an issue is disgusting. Okay, hang on. Let me grab this quick. I'm just going to grab my link from LFT, drop it in chat quick. Thank you. Do I leave the asterisks out? Just me. Yep, you're good. I just want to make sure that I have a working link, so I'm going to click on it and then do it. And make sure you guys that as I read this to you, you guys are using hashtag Rachel Morin in chat and any social media that you guys have. Make sure to keep Rachel's name out there. All right. I don't know if that worked or not. Copy and paste that if it didn't. Oh, Elisa, thank you. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So back to what I was reading. Thank you so much. All right. So as you guys can see here, here's a photo of the GoFundMe. And I'll read through it here. So it says, well, questions surrounding the mysterious murder of 37-year-old Rachel Morin still haunt the Harford County community. New questions are now being raised over money donated to her 5 surviving children. 4 months after Rachel's body was found along the popular Ma and Pa walking trail in Bel Air, local law enforcement has yet to make any arrests. Initially, the Morin family conveyed a united front in their hunt for Rachel's killer. But now, a dispute over money raised for the children seems to be creating a divide. On Facebook, Matt McMahon, I don't know how you say his last name, but Matt, which is the father of Rachel's oldest child, is accusing the Morin family of cutting his child out of a GoFundMe for Rachel's expenses. Rachel's sister, Rebecca Morin, is listed as the GoFundMe's organizer, which has now raised more than $54,000. Screenshots of the GoFundMe's description when it was first launched reads in part, if there are any remaining funds, they will go towards things her 5 children may need. The description now reads, if there are any remaining funds, they will go towards Rachel's family and things her minor children may need. Matt says his daughter is 18 years old and the only child who is not legally a minor. Hey, K-Bird. Hi, Destiny. So, let's see. I think that might be... Oh, here we go. So, I will say Randolph Rice is the attorney representing the Morin family, not the children, just in general. But Fox 45 reached out to Rebecca Morin Thursday asking why the change was made. As of the time this article was published, we had not heard back. That is for legal reasons. I'm not going to say yes or no. I noticed that too. I'm not sure. I'm sure it will over time. I wonder if it just has to have the people watching or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works, Aaron. It says we don't have anything to do with the GoFundMe at this time. I do know just from speaking with the family that it's still sitting in the GoFundMe trust or the GoFundMe account, said Randolph Price, an attorney representing the Morin family. I don't think they can in a chat, but allegedly. Wink, wink. Yeah. In his social media post, Matt is also accusing Rice of holding onto the money that was meant to purchase the children's Christmas gifts. Clearly, he's making a demand for money. So this is Rice saying that Matt's only intention is to get money from this, which, if you even read Matt's post, is not accurate. So the money was raised during a fundraiser put on by Box Hill Pizzeria on November 24th. A flyer advertising the fundraiser noted that a significant percentage of the sales would be used to provide some comfort during this holiday season. Rebecca Morin shared the flyer to social media with a caption that read in part, "Goal is to raise enough to give Rachel's 5 children as good Christmas as they can have without their mother, who always worked extra hard around the holidays to give them a magical Christmas." Right. But instead of buying gifts, we weren't involved in the beginning process of that, so I couldn't tell you why, the purpose of it. I knew it was a fundraiser, and Box Hill contacted us and said, we've got the funds, we want to transfer it for the benefit of the kids. Then we said, there's a trust, you can place it in that trust. Box Hill never told you it was meant for Christmas gifts, asks the reporter. I couldn't tell you what it was. I don't know. I had no idea what it was for. We didn't even talk to Box Hill. We talked to their accountant. Rice claims the money is now sitting in a trust set up by his office for the children to use for future medical and educational purposes. Rice also showed Fox 45 the 3 checks he received from Box Hill totaling $7,149. However, as of this time this article was published, Rice has not provided proof that the money was put into a trust. Rice says Rachel's mother is the trust's executor. He added that if the children need to pull funds from it, an official request would need to be made. They have to write a petition or write a letter, some sort, that believed that the money would be needed. And it goes on to talk to Rachel's half-sister, Erin Morin Lehman, who claims to have helped organize the fundraiser and said, I hate to even go there, but it really does seem shady to say the least. And says that she herself spoke with Rice prior to the fundraiser about how the money was intended to be spent. Says, in that conversation, did you specify that the money was meant for Christmas gifts? And Rachel's half-sister said yes. And of course, Rice denies the conversation ever happened, and so on and so forth. So, I'm never one that's going to tell you what to do with your money, but I will say that I know that you're never 100% sure where your money is going to unless, for instance, it goes to you're buying something specific. and so on. So just be aware. Are you good, Tia? Did you fall down? But also, Tia and LFT at the Decipher podcast know a lot more when it comes to this. So yeah, I'm not gonna say it legally, allegedly. Um, but I would have to agree with what Tia says. So nails. Um, yes, and hang on, let me see. What Aaron just said too, guys. If you haven't, please take a moment and turn on your allow gift options. I think the memberships will get gifted out that way. Hi, Tony. But like I said, just be very vigilant where you're putting your time and your money when it comes to cases like these. And yeah, right, Aaron. All right. So let's see. That was all I had for Rachel. Once again, I'll throw the Rachel's Killers stills back up there. But after that, we are going to get into Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt. So, we have, there we go. Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt. So, for those of you that don't know, this originally occurred in Ivins, Utah. This all began on August 30th, 2023, when Ruby Frankie's technically second youngest child, but oldest in the situation at this time. Hi, Cabres. Escaped is, I think, one of the best ways that I can put it. From Jody Hildebrandt's home and ran to a neighbor's house asking for them to call the police. He was bound and looked emaciated and said that he had been locked up for however long. And there's just there's a lot more to that case. This, I think, when you see it, K-Bird, it's the fact that something so horrendous happened there. It is the most beautiful house. It's going for like $5 million, but I'm going to show you guys the house here in a second. But this got so viral because Ruby Frankie was the mother of a family vlogging channel known as 8 Passengers here on YouTube. They had millions of subscribers, were making millions of dollars. They were, hi Jordan, thank you for watching. And they had, like I said, quite a bit of a following. Her entire family is on YouTube. That is their jobs. They all have millions of followers, and that is how they make their money. Exploiting children and their lives to the point where one of them just built their own mansion. So, true. K-Bird, exactly. I don't think it's going to go for what they're hoping it'll go for. But other than, we are going to, like I said, go through Jody's house because she put it up for sale. So you can now see the inside of the house and everything. But there were a few other updates. Kevin filed for divorce against Ruby, which, to be honest, I did not think was going to happen. For those of you who don't remember, they are part of the Mormon Church, which does allow divorce. I asked a friend who is Mormon. But just based upon where they were and the situation and how everything has played out, I just didn't think he was going to. Especially because he did try to press charges on his oldest daughter for breaking into the house that he was not even living in for over a year. So I don't know. It's just, I was surprised at that when that happened. But I really haven't heard much about it since then. Then there were 2 court hearings. One of them I expected, the other one I did not. In the first one, Ruby pled guilty. She pled guilty to 4 of her 6 charges. Right. Me too, Jordan, actually. I know, Elisa. I use this picture because they don't do that anymore. So I'm like, they can't really laugh anymore. Um, but Ruby pled guilty. She pled guilty to 4 of her 6 charges, and she also agreed to testify against Jody. So that part, I'll say, I think I knew she was going to do that. She wasn't going to go down for this. The part I wasn't expecting was not that Jody took a plea as well, but that they offered Jody a plea as well. Jody also pled guilty to 4 out of the 6, and they both are going to get jail time. They both, surprisingly, are also being sentenced on February 20th, 2024, so February 20th of this year. Only about a half hour apart. I believe one's at 8:30 and one's at 9, or 9 and 9:30, something along there. Something like that. Um, but I didn't think that they would give Jody a plea deal. Number one, just because of everything that has happened up till this point, that it all occurred at her residence. But also the fact that within Ruby's plea deal, there was a tie saying that Ruby had to testify against Jody. Now she can't do that because there's not going to be a trial for either of them because they both pled guilty. So I don't know how that worked out, if people just didn't have conversations with each other, or if this is higher workings. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't tell you. What do you guys think? Do you think that they both should have got plea deals? Or do you think it should have been one or the other? What are you guys thinking? Curious to see what you guys think. No, you don't think either of them should? Or that only one of them should? Only Jody. Yeah. You think only Jody should have got one and not Ruby? You think Jody should have turned on Ruby instead, Lady V? My only thing is that Jody's been doing this for a lot longer than Ruby has. Ruby only got into this parenting style and such after she met Jody. Yes, she did shit that she should not have been doing. Um, and there's evidence of that. We went back in my very first Ruby Frankie video and we watched Swoop's documentary on Ruby Frankie, and it went through all of the things that she did to her children leading up to all of this. And I don't know. I agree though. I think they are both going to be punished. I just don't think it's going to be to the extent that we were all hoping for and that I think they deserve. I want to say I don't remember the exact numbers, but it would have been like 30 or 60 years is like the max that either of them can get now from pleading guilty. I think that regardless of a plea deal or not, they both, along with Kevin, deserve to be. Yep, I agree 100%. Yeah, I don't think anyone should get a plea either, Lady B, but I also think that one of them was going to, regardless, to turn on the other. And it looked like Ruby was the one, but it looks like they also gave one to Jody, which is the part of this that I don't understand. Hi, Abby. Abby, you should know that my Nightbot went a little crazy and I had to turn him off, so I can't give you your thing that I made. Sorry, man. You just get a regular one. Okay, so let us get into her house. Have any of you guys seen this by chance? I know the Dad Challenge podcast, Josh over on the Dad Challenge podcast, he shared these photos. I want to say YouTuber Headlines also shared these today in a video. But it's insane. So this is Jody's house. Yeah. Um, is up for sale. So this is the house that the older son of Ruby's escaped from, which when I show you guys the inside of this house, you will be floored at number one, how he was able to escape depending on where you're good, Lady V. um, but just I this is one of those houses that if you didn't know what was going on in this house, you'd be like, holy shit, who can buy this house? It's the most beautiful thing ever. But unfortunately now you're right, it has bad juju and it's an evil place. So this is Jody's house. It is currently up for sale for $5.3 million. It is 5 beds, 6 baths, 10,000, just over 10,000 square feet. So this is the overview of it. Yes. Jordan, I would have to agree with you. Yeah, Jody's compound, correct. If you guys can see here, also, it's giving us a little bit of an overview look at the potential of the houses. I'm not exactly sure which one it was that the son would have had to run to, Ruby's son, but it would have been, I would assume, one of these houses here. But as you can see, this does not look fun to be barefoot and run through, regardless of, um, how far the distance is. I wouldn't even want to walk in the driveway. Imagine how hot that dirt is, too. But all right, so I'm going to scroll through these photos. Some of them I'll go faster through just because, like you guys can see here, there's 157 of them. So, right, T, exactly. And some of them are just from different angles. But this is walking towards their front door, I want to say. A nice fountain, an additional door. Yeah. Then we get to, this is the front door. So the front door that you could fit a car through, it is huge. Look at that front door. Insane. I know. Is that near where Ivan's is? Ivan's is, Thistle? Ah, shit, you caught me, Nora's grandma. Yeah, still. Correct. All right, we'll keep going. So this is the entrance to her home. You guys will see it's got insane architecture throughout the whole thing. It is beautiful. You guys keep looking. It has floor to ceiling windows almost all the way through. TVs everywhere. The pool, hot tub. Yeah, exactly, Will be. You do not buy those at Lowe's. Once again, here is the front door that I was showing you guys, and then the very first picture that had the he did, yes, Jordan. Hang on. It was, let me throw this up and then I'll take it off. August, the end of August. So, yeah, it would have been hot as hell. All right. So this is all that part. And you guys, the crazy part is although this is beautiful, this isn't even the craziest part of the house or the reason why I'm showing you this house in general. So this is just the kitchen. Like I said, this part of the aspect of this is not important. Look at the view though, just out the side door. Holy damn. All the built-ins too, the backsplash. Can you guys imagine though the view from this if this wasn't a terrible, horrendous place? Right. All right, I'm gonna kind of go a little bit faster through these. Like I said, this will be linked down below if you guys do want to go look at it yourselves. But let's see if Fireplace. Another room with just a bunch of stuff in it. A laundry room. I think there's like 3 laundry rooms or 3 washers and dryers within this whole house too, which is crazy because I can't imagine more than one person doing laundry at a time. I guess you could do more than one load. But we're going to keep walking through. Look at that window. Sorry, guys. I'm not meaning for this to be like a fangirling over this house moment, but like, holy shit. Yeah. Yes, red eye. There is, and we'll get to that. I just have to make it through the rest of these first. But this is how Jody was living based on her parenting style teachings that she was doing that then Ruby got into that her kids were then going through. Yeah, Aaron, mine too. Hey, Jennifer K. This, unfortunately, is Jody Hildebrandt's home, where the 2 Frankie children had escaped to after being held, prisoner in this house and tortured, pretty much. So, unfortunately, it is beautiful. Can you imagine having your washer and dryer in your closet? I'm telling you guys. Another bedroom. Trying to make it through these. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so it looks like we're downstairs now in the second living area. And we're going to continue making our way. There's another kitchen. TV, a bathroom. Don't know where this is all leading to. But there's like 3 or 4 levels in this home, which is also crazy. Keep going. More stairs. To another kitchen. What are you guys thinking so far? Does your closet have a fridge? I think every room should have a fridge. Just saying. In my opinion. It's everywhere. There's 3 of... Oh, in the closet, I said. There's grandma. All right. Let's keep going. Hi, NorCal. It's good to see you. Yeah. This is pretty much like your guest house, NorCal Gym. All right. So we're going to keep going through. I'm sure there's a sauna in here somewhere. A bathroom. Shower. Another closet. More and more. Oh, look! Whoever said fridge in the closet! You called it. Damn. That was good. That was good. I suppose it could be a pantry, but either way. All right. It's just another room, basement, so on. So this is a close-up. This is the garage, I believe. The garage has a... Hi, Angie. Right, Angie, it does. It makes you a little more happy knowing that she went from living in this luxury to a small little jail cell. It does make you feel better about it. So this looks to be like a dog grooming shower thing in the garage, which bougie as hell, but super smart. I actually would love that. Dexter hates the bath. But you'll see this here is the garage. One of the garages, I suppose. You guys can see here, there's a lot of different doors, something like that. Yeah. Well, you'll see the size of the room that supposedly they were keeping these kids in. 3 floors underground. So we're getting to that now. These pictures are coming up. So this is the garage. And then off of the garage, in this door, you guys can see another set of stairs. So right to the right over here is where that dog shower was. Oh, is it? I think they had said that it was utilized for dogs in that specific situation, but it could be. That too, though. I don't know if I'd ever actually wash off, though. I'd probably just walk through the house because I'm a terrible person. So, yes, this is the garage. And um, this is a door with stairs in the garage that leads to another room. I think this is the same wall of the garage. Yeah, so these are the same walls. This is just from a different angle. The garages. And this is where those stairs led to. So if you guys can see, I'll zoom in a little. This staircase here is the staircase we were seeing from the stairs and the door in the garage. Is to this literal cement room. Now, I don't know what the hell this was potentially used for. I don't know. But no. Technically, I guess yes. It could be considered a dungeon. Because it is under the garage. But it gets worse than that. Because if you guys also see me scroll in once again, if it wants to let me, there is another set of stairs going down another level. So you keep going. Here we go again. Here are the stairs that go up to the garage. These stairs are going down another level. That, Karen Rogers, that could be technically what it was built for in the house. Doesn't mean that's what they had utilized it for, I suppose. But that is a good thought, and it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. As we keep going, this is a door. We're actually looking into this room at this point. But this is the room that it goes down to again. And then from this room, there is this Liberty safe door. This is in the second room. And correct, Angie. I want to say there's at least 4 levels, Sandra. Well, we'll be. That's what you'd think. Except for the fact that you saw the toilet a few slides ago. This is from inside that safe. That's the safe door open. That's the room we were just in. This is what's behind that door. I will give you guys another view of that. Here's another one. There's one of those pull-down beds, a fridge. Look, there's the bed. And this is all in that corner. The door is literally right here. There's a small little kitchen, a toilet, and that one bed. All behind that one safe door right there. That's what's in this little room right there. It is a safe room. That is, I'm sure, what it was made for when the house was made. But I've also heard conflicting reports on whether or not it was Jody who designed the house. Thank you, Sandra Murphy Bed. That's what I meant to say. Or if it was built and they just bought it. I'm not exactly sure, and I've heard it both ways. But to my understanding, it was not necessarily used as a safe room, if you catch my drift. And that and these other 2 rooms were the rooms that were utilized to hold the children in. Allegedly. Right, Thistle. But, I mean, can you imagine being, even if you're down in this big room and they've closed it off or something, like, where does this door even go to? Or this room or whatever that is? You know? So, you can't hear from 3, even 2 levels down under a garage. But this is the interesting fact about this, is that if you guys remember right when all this first happened, there was a Reddit post that came out stating that it was false, that there was a hidden room under her garage and that people were mixing up the 911 calls when we first were listening to the 911 calls. Well, it turns out that it wasn't mixed up and that there is not only one room, but it looks to be a couple rooms slash levels slash dungeons under her garage. Yeah, right, Jordan. Like I said, I don't know for sure what it was all utilized as. I can't say for sure that the kids were locked in there, but based on the information that we've heard and the arrest affidavits for both Ruby and Jody, either way, even if there's gym equipment in there, it's still terrifying to be so far underground, not be able to have food, water, whatever. And then not only forget that, but they would keep them outside for days at a time to the point where they were having blisters from sunburns. And then to not only have that, but then be like, okay, what's worse, being locked in this cell or to be outside in the fresh air but have a blistering sunburn? So Thistle, the boy who I want to say was 12 or 14, 12, 12, I think is what I want to stop on. But uh, he was not down here supposedly, or was in these areas or something. Somewhere, somehow, supposedly he got out through a window on the normal level of the home. So it's not like he escaped from the dungeon area supposedly, unless someone really just kept all the doors unlocked. Yeah, Mavid Blaman. It's good to see you, by the way. The name change threw me a little, but not quite. The only thing is that the kids have stated that they were not given food. So regardless of if they had hordes of food for the end of the world or whatever it may be, um, the kids were not given that food. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot to it, but I think it's so interesting to be able to see it with our own eyes, to be able to see the home where all of this potentially happened. But like one of you guys had said earlier as well, I read somewhere quite a while ago that Jody had this house built specifically for safe rooms because she claimed a former client threatened her years ago. Mm, yeah, it's insane to me. Most ridiculous crap ever. Hang on, I'm gonna try and I have to get used to going back and forth between sharing my screen and the comments so that I can pull them up. Sleuth Mom said, which is most ridiculous crap ever. You see so many times these kids are abused and then the families are preppers. Yeah. Well, and it's hard though, because a lot of the times it's like you don't think to look either. Yeah, of course, Inspector Gadget. I knew to look because of Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast. So if you guys don't watch Josh at the Dad Challenge podcast, please do. I will have his channel linked down below. I don't know if my mods have it. Like I said, I was trying to start Nightbot, but then Nightbot got mad at everyone. So I have to go figure that out. But yeah, I don't know. But those were pretty much the updates. Like I said, both Ruby and Jody have their sentencing on February 20th, within a half an hour of each other. Now that I'm back, hopefully I can. Are there supposed to be cameras, Norcal? Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right. It is. Well, as long as they remember to lock the doors, apparently. Oh, okay. Well, that is interesting too, because you'd assume that maybe they took them all down though after they put the house up. But you'd think that if they did hold them somewhere, that you would assume that they would be under surveillance. The Dad Challenge podcast. Josh focuses a lot on child exploitation on YouTube, family vloggers, and parents who make money utilizing their kids on YouTube. He's really good at what he does. He does have his own personal sense of humor. A lot of people may not like his sense of humor. I think he's hilarious. Um, but he's doing it for the right reasons. Like I said, I will link his channel down below. All the channels I've mentioned tonight, I'll link them down below. Of course. True Crime Crazy. I can text it to you too if you want me to. Yes. Thank you, Summer. All right. I have a few more cases, but they're going to be somewhat quick because a lot of them don't necessarily have any updates. 1 second. Let's take this down and continue. So next, we're gonna go over Madalena Kojakari. Unfortunately, there's no new update. So for those of you who don't remember, Madalena is a young girl who is from Cornelius, North Carolina. She technically was last seen on the surveillance of her, the DCP Thistle. Josh is at the Dad Challenge podcast. I think it's in our Discord links. Last seen getting off of her school bus on her school bus surveillance on November 21st. And unfortunately, not reported missing until December 15th of 2022. This was during the Thanksgiving break, I want to say, which is why it went so long. And it actually was not her mother and stepfather that reported her missing. It was her school resource officer who had requested a meeting because she hadn't been at school and was going to start all the paperwork for her being tardy all the time. Hi, Book Cherry Lover. Oh, I miss you too. Thank you. Hang in there. Thank you, Thistle. She was the truant officer. They were going to get truancy involved and everything like that. The mom said she was going to bring Madalena to the school for the school meeting. And when she went to the school meeting, she did not bring Madalena. And she's like, just kidding. We actually haven't seen her since the 23rd, which is technically the 22nd or the 23rd. It's kind of gone back and forth. But yeah, so not only did her mom knowingly claim that she went missing on the 22nd or 23rd of November, she was not the one that called the police. It was when her mom went to the school, said, hey, actually, I didn't bring her with. And not only did I not bring her with, but hey, she's been missing since the 22nd or 23rd. Both her mom and stepdad were arrested in like, I can't remember their exact charges. It was regarding not reporting a missing child, so on and so forth. There has been a lot of I don't know how to say this, like, not controversy, but questions regarding Madalena, and the different things that could be potentially happening. A lot of people have said that her mother was a mail order bride and that her stepfather had brought very dangerous people into their lives and that the mom had given her to family, or that the mom had sold her, or that the dad had sold her, or that they sold her together. Hi, by the wave. And so, yeah, there's no new updates on her case. Most recently, there was a update from the investigators, I want to say in November of this last year, where they did come out and state that they believe Madalena is still alive and out there, that they did not kill her and get rid of her. Although, if you guys do remember, her mom was seen potentially throwing items off of the mountains in the mountains of North Carolina. But the investigators said, based on everything that they have seen, interviewed, heard from, they believe that she is still alive at this point. Right, Sleuth Mom? She's one of the few missing kiddo cases that I have genuine hope she could be alive. Right. And that's kind of where I lean too. I know there's been a few potential sightings, some in North Carolina. There was one potentially, yeah, you're good, Thistle. There was one potentially in California, of a little girl at a gas station with a kitten. I don't think any of them have panned out to be like official sightings, But I think based on just in the Facebook groups and stuff like that, that the one near like in North Carolina was more reliable than others. But once again, this is Madalena Kojakari. I do have an entire video on story, her storyline, and everything like that with more photos of her. But I wanted to make sure that we got her cute little face out there so that way everyone from across the country can make sure that you keep an eye out for Madalena. Yeah. All right. The next case we have is Athena Brownfield. How many of you guys remember Athena's case? Okay, LFT. Does anyone remember Athena's case? This was in Cyril, Oklahoma. This was January 10th, so it's almost a year ago. Okay, you guys do. This case began when Athena's sister was walking outside of her home. I think they were 3 and 4. I think Athena was 4, her sister was 3, or it was the other way around. Either way, a young girl was walking outside of her home and walked up to the mail carrier and said, "I'm hungry and I can't find my sister." And so the mail carrier obviously was like, "What the hell?" Not literally, but you know what I mean. And walked her back to her home to like figure out, "Hey, where are your parents?" Everything along those lines. No one was in there. The little girl was completely by herself, stating she hadn't eaten in days. She didn't know where her sister was. She didn't know where anyone was. Come to find out that her mom had given her to her mom's cousin, who goes by Allie online, but her name's like Alicia, or however she would say her full name. And her husband Ivan, and their 4 kids. They had taken custody of Athena and her sister. And I don't know, I don't even know for sure what the hell happened during this time frame. But at some point, Ivan leaves with their 4 kids. At this point, they are separated, from what I understand. Alicia and Ivan are separated, but still living together with the kids. And Ivan takes the 4 kids down to Arizona, New Mexico, one of the 2 down there. And supposedly, Alicia was supposed to have custody of the sisters. But instead, hey Rock 54, it's good to see you. Instead, spent the weekend at her new boyfriend's house, where she posted all over social media pictures of them at the bars and getting ready to go on dates and all this stuff. Well, we find out that the girls were home alone, a 3 and a 4-year-old in this home alone. Well, once all of this starts to go, obviously, they arrest both Alicia and Ivan, and Alicia snitches, as the best word I can say. She says, actually, Athena has been dead since Christmas Day, when Ivan got mad at her, and beat her to death, where then he then went and buried her body on their previous property together. That all the kids witnessed this, blah, blah, blah. It was Christmas Day, and she's been dead since Christmas. Now, remember, Athena's sister was found on January 10th. So there's a significant time frame there, of potential of when Athena is deceased and when she's either found or so on. So, yeah. So at this point, from Alicia telling them this, the police go and they actually do find Athena's body, and it was on their previous property, right where Alicia said it was going to be. And then her body is obviously taken for autopsy. Both of them are charged. Now, I believe based on Alicia's testimony, or interviews, Ivan is charged with first-degree murder, and then Alicia is only charged with child neglect, I think, is the way that it all worked. Because she claims it was Ivan that did everything, and that he was the one that hit her body, everything. She just knew about it, but she was scared for her life. So on. Well, then I'd say probably one of the biggest plot twists of last year in the cases I was covering was this case because Athena's autopsy report came back and she had died of pneumonia and malnutrition. She had not she had no signs on her body of being beaten like Alicia had said she was. Um and I remember reading that and just being like, "What? I don't like how does this whole time she's saying that she was beaten to death on Christmas Day to then find out that she literally had no signs of being beaten on her body and that she had died of malnutrition and pneumonia." Um, and now more things have come out to the yeah, very weird. Very, very weird. But now more things have come out and the charges have been changed. So let me grab this. Okay. So this is Alicia Adams. She's now charged with first degree murder in Athena's case. Yes. So she had already technically been arrested and being held on child neglect. But the it is all switched now. Her charges have been changed, and so have his charges. So I'm going to read through this for you guys. Alicia Adams, the former caretaker of Athena Brownfield, has had her charges upgraded from child neglect to first degree murder. That is the first aspect of this, is that she got a first degree murder charge. So I don't know if this is just based on her lying or if they found more evidence that actually tied her to the actual murder itself, which when we then see the difference in Ivan's charges, we will be able to see that as well. But it does say here, originally arrested for child neglect in the homicide investigation in January, her charges have been moved up to first degree murder. Adams was supposed to be looking after Brownfield at the time of her disappearance. In January, courts originally charged Adams' husband, Ivan Adams, with the murder of Brownfield. So, Brownfield was, this kind of just goes over once again, that she was found by a postal carrier. Well, her sister was, and everything along those lines. And the storyline behind that. Once again, this is in Oklahoma. So, but not only that, but Ivan, when Alicia's charges had been moved up to first degree murder, Ivan's were downgraded to second degree murder. So the way I look at that is he didn't potentially take part in it if they're charging her with first degree. Hi, Christy Bushy, it's good to see you. It would sound more like he maybe helped after the fact, or I don't know exactly why they changed, other than the fact that obviously Alicia was lying about what had happened and how she died and everything along those lines. But she will be arraigned on February 21st, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. So I will be keeping you guys updated on that. All right. And once again, that was Athena Brownfield. Does anyone have any questions about Athena's case? All right. Now we will get on to Maddie's case. So obviously, if you guys know me, you know Maddie's case, hopefully. It occurred in Winona, Minnesota. She went missing March 29th of 2023. Her body was found June 9th of 2023. So she was missing 69 days. I am really good friends with someone very closely involved in this case. And as you guys know that, she might be listening, but either way, Maddie's case is one that I'm always going to be covering, but I'm also always going to be very hesitant because it's, how do I explain this? Knowing people involved in Maddie's case, whether that be friends or family of Maddie's, it gives you a different perception of true crime, and it's definitely taught me about the things that should or should not be broadcast based on speculation and such that can really harm not a case, but even just those surrounding the person who was killed. Um, I have learned I've gone on YouTube and literally found stuff that was the farthest from the truth, and people are putting it as breaking news when it comes to Maddie's case. And it's one of those things where I can say as much as I can about Maddie's case and from what I know, but I can't stop others. But it's definitely made me so that even not even just Maddie's case, but all the cases I cover, I try to do without speculation, just with the facts of a case and just with the victims at the forefront. Um, just because I think that's most important. But obviously, I'm not always going to do that. I'm going to mess up here and there or get petty here and there. Like, for instance, showing Ruby and Jody smiling because they're not allowed to smile anymore. Um, but I try my best to remain respectful and speculation free. And I'll say that I do that because of everything I've learned while covering Maddie's case and getting to know those of Maddie's friends and family. But yes, the father of Maddie's children is currently in jail. He's has two first-degree murder charges and two second-degree murder charges. Um, he was just more recently charged with his first-degree charges because in the state of Minnesota, you have to have a grand jury indictment to get a first-degree murder charge. So we had to wait for that, but there was a grand jury. He was indicted on two different charges of first-degree murder. And there was an omnibus hearing, which is pretty much just like a checking to make sure everyone's on the same page with the new charges and everything like that. That happened mid-December, and I just wanted to throw out the next court dates, which are March 19th, March 20th, and April 30th. Now, when you actually look at the docket under the MCRO, the Minnesota Court, whatever it stands for, they're all listed as contested omnibus hearings, which when I then Googled that, it went on to tell me about a contested omnibus is pretty much like a mini trial, but no jury. So it's both sides going over, any issues that either side may have, the defense or the prosecution, facts, witnesses testify, everything along those lines, potentially. Not 100%. I'm not saying that's a fact, but that's just what I read. The the father of her children could testify potentially if he wanted to, if his lawyers wanted him to. But that's kind of what those are. I'm not exactly sure how the dates work out on what happens when or so on or how it all works, but just based on what I was able to find in like law journals and stuff like that from the state of Minnesota, that is kind of what I found as what a contested omnibus hearing is, which is what the next three court dates in Maddie's case are labeled as. Other than that, the father of her children is still in jail, thank God, where he belongs. And this is a case that, like I said, I'll keep you guys updated quite a bit and make sure that you guys are staying loud. And there's a lot of domestic violence issues and such that are going on right now in the world. It seems like every single day I look and there's some type of DV case making headlines, which is disgusting. So that is another thing that on my channel we're very passionate about, is helping those who are in DV situations, or obviously we're never going to be able to stop DV, but we can try. And that's kind of what I hope to do. So that is the Madeline Kingsbury case. Like I said, I will keep you guys updated if there's any more information regarding Maddie's case as time goes on. Um, the last case that we will talk about, which I told you guys at the beginning, is the Idaho 4 case. So obviously, a majority of you, if not all of you, are aware of the Idaho 4. Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xander Kernodle were all killed not on campus, slightly off campus, University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho, November 13th of 2022. It has been over a year now. Brian Koberger was arrested at December of, I want to say it was the 29th. So I want to say it was my mom's birthday, or 29th or the 30th, one of those two, of 2022. And everything has kind of been very slow going. But the most recent updates in the Idaho case are that I've been able to see is that I'm not exactly sure how many, if it's all of them, if it covers everything, but there will be a live stream of the trial. I don't know if it's of the official trial, if it's for hearings or what. I haven't been able to read too much into it. There's so much that gets released on the Idaho court's website when it comes to Koberger that I'm not going to lie, it confuses me. So, from what I've read, though, based on news articles and everything like that, it looks like that there will be live streaming of some sort to a certain extent in the courtroom. Now, the other big part of this, which is the reason I'm bringing Idaho up at all, is because I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on the 1122 King Road house being demolished. So if you guys didn't know, I think it was last week. Last week, the house where this brutal murders occurred was demolished. If you guys remember, the owner of the house had gifted it to, or donated it to the college, and we know that both the prosecution and the defense have gone back and forth in there doing it while everything was going. Summer, that's what I thought too. That was my thought too, was that it was going to stream on their YouTube page for everyone to get. But either way, so it was demolished about a week ago. Here are some of the photos of it being demolished. It was live streamed. They did actually start it about a half hour earlier than the time that they had told the media, which was interesting. But I'm not quite sure why. Now I am going to be very honest. I think it was a mistake. I get it. They claimed that it wasn't the same place. I know the families, at least the Gonsalves and the Kernodle family, had put out pleas to not, please, like PLEAS, to not tear it down. Obviously, those went unanswered, and it was torn down. But I don't, yeah, I don't get it. I would have to agree that what is the harm of keeping it up, regardless of if it doesn't look exactly the same as when it happened? Do I think it needed to come down eventually? Yes. Do I think that there's some way that Ann Taylor and Brian Koberger are going to have the ability to utilize this in a way that goes against justice for Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana? Yeah. And I think that's why I wish they would have just waited. Not because I think that there could be any more that is gotten from the home being there, but just because there's now something that can be held on to as doubt. You know, do I think it should have come down? Absolutely. But not now. Just in my opinion. So I want to hear what you guys think. I don't know. The thing is too, now that you say that, Nora's grandma, I wonder if the owner didn't sell it to the university if they would have waited. Both the prosecution and the defense signed off on this house being demolished. So I don't know, like, I guess obviously they say that they have everything that they could get from the house. It wouldn't have been structurally safe or something based on what they had to take out for a jury to walk through anyways, or they had the what is it, the 3D, 4D scanners that went through and like mapped out the entirety of the house, which yes, that's cool, but the thing is there's nothing like seeing it in person. Even it's seeing it from the outside. Once you hear these stories and you look into it, because if you think about it, all of us that have looked into this case for the last year, seeing that house does something to you. Like when I was on Teresa's over on criminality earlier, not earlier today, a few days ago, she had said that it made her very emotional to watch it. And I think there's so much to it to the point where it's like you would feel something even standing outside that house once you know the amount of information that we know. And if you think about the information that the public knows, it's a very, very small percentage of what the jury is going to know. So I think even the power of them being able to stand outside the house could have made a potential difference when it came to, at least in the prosecution. I could see, I don't know. But I think the fact that they both okayed it, it's not going to be able to be utilized, which is what I'm crossing my fingers for. Um, but I don't know for sure. And it scares me the fact that now there is something that they'd be like, well, we did say it was fine, but like now we'll never, like, I can see Ann Taylor while questioning someone or something being like, I guess we'll never know because it was torn down and utilizing that aspect of things. And that's what pisses me off and scares me about the situation. It would have been fine, but yeah. And that's the thing. But I also can understand the differences in it can't be the same. You know what I mean? K-Bird. I think the university is the main party that wanted the house down for the same reason. They gave the all clear on vandal alerts and the suspect was on the loose. Money, perception, and greed. Yep. I would have to agree with you, K-Bird. I um I would say 100% it has to do with one more year with having that house up, especially if they saw in the fall semester a drop in people enrolling for this last year because it's the year that it was still up and everything like that. Um why they would want it down as soon as possible and why they would have been pushing to have it brought down versus just leaving it up until after trial. I also wonder though, I've wondered for a long time if certain individuals, I know a lot of the people either have gone to different schools, so on and so forth, but if anyone that was living in those neighboring homes that night still lived there. And if that could have also been a reason, if people were like, "Hey, we can't afford to move. I can't stand looking at that house anymore." I mean, one person's not gonna make a huge difference in a big situation like that, but I also wonder if that could have potentially made an impact on if enough students that lived near it that would see it every day were like, "Hey, I can't look at this anymore if I wanna keep coming here." Or if it was all just the school being like, "Shit, we can't have this out here anymore. People aren't coming, our donors aren't donating," stuff like that. I don't know. But I wanted to bring it up just because I get it. I just don't agree with it. And I was curious what all of you guys thought. But yeah, I think that's all I had for tonight, guys. I'm back on a schedule now, so I'll be live next week. I'm not sure what day. I maybe even be live twice because I technically the next case that I'm gonna be doing is the Sherry Orofino case. Is an older case from the 80s. Um, and I'm still waiting to hear from a detective because they suck sometimes. Um, and trying to get different paperworks and stuff like that. But I think I've held on to Sherry's case long enough that I'd like to share her story with you guys. And then it, even though it's going to end up being a to be continued. Yes. And if you guys, let me throw you up there. If you guys don't know, Elisa is the one that brought this case to me. And her profile picture is actually Sherry Orofino. So Lisa has kind of helped me through this case. She has personal connections to Sherry and her case. Um, and she's been helping me through this for the last few months and trying to figure out everything that I can from here because it did take place in New York. Um, and there's a lot to it. There's a corrupt cop involved, um, different potential mafia ties, and there's a lot to it. And I want to make sure that Sherry's face and name and story are out there so that way at least you guys are aware of what's going on, regardless of if my story line or my live storyline is complete or not. Um, and then after that, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll have all weekend to work on another one. So look for 2 lives next week, possibly. Maybe one during the day, maybe not. I don't know yet. But thank you guys so much for coming back after my hiatus and understanding why I was gone. I appreciate it so much. Um, but I'm back. I hope to be weekly now, if not twice a week, but it depends on work. Um, and I will keep you guys updated. Thank you again. Thank you to everyone again who gifted memberships tonight. You guys are the best. And remember to stay kind. I love you guys too. Thank you. And yeah, I will do my Maddie outro just because whenever I try to talk TV, I try to do my Maddie outro um, for domestic violence help. And then I'll end it out. So thank you guys. Have a great, safe weekend. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.